Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Reno and Marcia Harp from the Harp Effect, and I'll just go ahead and do the quick introductions. On the left, we have Rachel Druten. We have Marcia Harp. You can say hi if you want. Don't be shy.
Well, I'm live from the Harp Effect with Joe Reno and Marcia Harp and the ladies that are all about books.
Hold on. And we got Joanne Hardy, and we got Carol Mann. So, Marcia, it's on you.
Oh, cheers, girls. How isn't this fun? Now, Reno, you don't have to be afraid of us. We'd like you to
Yeah,
Here we go. Yes, you are. And isn't this fun well, can you see this at all?
Yes.
You can? This is all about books. These gals are all about books. I am so impressed. I have so many questions, and it's so interesting to me that three women. Did you meet in the desert?
We have known each other for years, but we just got together and became very close recently. And we find we work together very well as a team.
So where were you from?
Illinois a long time ago.
Okay, that counts. I'm from Ohio. That's a good background.
A good Midwestern girl.
Yes, you got
But I've
it.
been in the desert a long time.
The Stanford team doctor delivered me. So I'm from California from forever.
Yeah, was that in the Bay Area?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you lived up there?
Well, my father was in Stanford, at Stanford.
Oh.
And so my grandparents had a store up there, and so and he was the janitor going through college. So there I was born.
Yes. And then moved to the desert from there?
No. Los Angeles and Pasadena and South
Okay,
Pasadena.
so we have Illinois, California, and how about you, Carol?
I'm from Buffalo, New York.
The
And there
whole
used to be a billboard, they tell me, on one of the main arteries going out of Buffalo that said, "Will the last one to leave please turn out the lights?" So that's Buffalo when it was in its Rust Belt bad period of time.
Well, should they be watching my neighbors? I used to live for many years in Mill Valley, California, and they were from Buffalo. Buffalo. In fact, I never thought I'd ever forget a little town right close to Cohoes. Is that it?
Cheektowaga?
Something like that. All those crazy, funny.
Spell it.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Anyway,
It's an
I
airport
never thought
name.
I'd forget. Oh, I'm forgetting a lot of things I never thought I'd forget. But here is the brochure all about books. And as you can see, we have all about books. Can you see those, Reno? And these are the books that these lovely ladies have authored. And you have a program that you put together all about books that people can actually book and hire you.
That's correct.
To speak.
That's correct.
But we're free.
Yes.
Oh, you are?
Oh, we're definitely free.
Hired for. Well,
We
that
can sell books.
certainly sweetens the pot.
Yes, the
And
only
then,
caveat is that we want to sell our books after we talk.
Yeah.
so okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start. No, I have to know how you all met up. Somebody tell me how you met from Illinois, California, Buffalo, New York.
And then you're going to have to ask them one at a time.
Okay, Carol.
Okay,
Carol.
I would start it out by saying we probably met in an organization, either the Palm Springs Writers Guild or the National League of American Penwomen. That would be speaking for me, where I met these two lovely ladies.
And that's right.
That's right. And
That's how they get along.
No, but it's so wonderful because we all have strengths in different areas, and we've discovered those, and so we work very well together, and we have lots of laughs.
and we write very different kind of material.
Oh, indeed
We
you
have
do.
different reader audiences, so we're not in competition.
Well, because as Reno and I were studying the brochure, and we went on the website, and the website, which is, I can't see it, so Can you?
Yeah, well, let's see here. All About Books
.com.
at dc.rr.com. And
That's
she's
correct.
she's the one
That's
that
it.
All About Books at
At
DC.rr.com.
dc.rr.com. That's our email address.
And
And
a
also
phone-
on the brochure is a phone number. And if you contact either of those lines, then you'll get me and we will book you.
And I can't like express enough how wonderful these gals are. And I've only known them a short while, met through an organization, GSFE,
That's another
Glo-
organization.
global
Society.
society.
Of
See,
Female entrepreneurs.
you got it. You got it. And I became so fascinated because they all pooled their talents, kept them individual. Let's start. Your book is, or books.
well, humor is I wrote 9 books prior to this, and then I stopped for 10 years. They were published for the inspirational market. They were
I believe that.
they were historical romances. And when we've talked about this, should I tell you what the difference in
Go ahead.
between a
Romance.
between for the
A historical and a romance.
well, no, historical romances, but you write them for the inspirational market. There's the difference, and the difference is that bare breasts and pulsing manhood.
Did you just say that?
Did you notice how quiet it got?
Tell me more.
And so, how? And she's really a classy lady. I don't know about that. And the extra part that is so fascinating about Rachel's books, I don't know about all of them, but these two here, she did the artwork on the costume, and it's called, is the name of the book, I'm Back.
Well, that's the second book. The first one is Paradise Found, and the second one in the series, and I'm working on the third one. And it all takes place in Palm Springs.
That's
The
where you
whole
can find
thing
the dirt,
is in
that's for
Palm
sure.
Springs. So there you are.
Ooh, you're going to
Rachel-
uncover some really
I
Oh
have.
my goodness, you'll want her book. I know, for late night reading.
Rachel, when you said motivation, like to motivate people to do something, you mean, or
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Well, those were my old books. Now these are, well, they kind of have naughty parts in them, but they're clean. It's
Fun.
yeah.
It's good for the imagination.
Yeah, and they take place in Palm Springs, and so you recognize all the places. In
What
Palm
about the
Springs.
people?
Well, yes.
Well, Rachel is an accomplished artist besides that.
Yes.
Well, that's what we were saying, that she did the painting on
Yes.
the,
Well,
like
I did
all
it
the
inside too.
illustrations.
They're all illustrated. Well,
ooh.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Reno, you come in so handy.
Yeah. Well, let's see. There's an illustration. And she,
Aren't we pretty far away?
you know, she's an undercover drug. She's undercover, and she starts a dating service with her friend, and so it's fun.
Oh, I have to read it. I have to do it. Yes, yes,
But
yes.
they have wonderful books.
Oh, well,
that
Joanne, what is your?
I write historical fiction, and I love history. I was a history teacher, but then I love to write historical fiction. This one is about an oil boom that took place.
An oil boom.
A boom, yeah, that took place in the Midwest, not far from where you and I were from. And it came at a time when people were so poor, and they got a lot of money fast, and they didn't quite comprehend it. And I watched all these things take place in people's lives, and you would think it would be wonderful, but it wasn't always. And so I thought about this for quite a while before I decided to write it, but I wanted to write it. And that's that one.
See, you know, that's one of the questions. When you say, I wanted to write it, and you, I'm sure, had to want to write this, and we're going to get to you in a moment, Carol. But what makes you want to write a book?
I don't know.
Well, it's not to get rich.
It is just there. We were talking about that before. It's just there, you know?
It's,
And it's like a missing piece if you're not writing
yes.
in your life.
And it's also, you can equate it to food.
Or
If
breathing.
you don't have food, you don't feel so well. And if you don't write, if you're a writer, you don't write, it bothers you. Or I would imagine if you don't exercise, it would bother you.
It doesn't
It's
bother
that-
me
Yeah,
at all.
that doesn't bother me.
Where's the food?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the
Well,
food.
there goes that analogy. But anyway,
But writing I need to do.
it's just something you just want to do.
How beautifully put. That, you know, because actually, if the truth be known, I'm telling the world now, I'll have to be accountable. I've been writing a book for years. You know, that's right. Yes, that's right. So that's the funny part. So it's like, obviously I didn't want to do it badly enough, but maybe one of these days I will want to do it.
We are your cheerleaders.
Oh,
Yes.
I will need
We're
cheerleaders.
we're for you.
Now, Carol is an award winner.
Yes, we
Yes.
We're
read
so proud of her.
not one.
She adds
She's one more
to
than
our
one.
Yes.
cachet. Is that the right word?
Yeah. Well, Carol, we read about that last night because we were doing our homework to
Yes.
make sure that we were up on, you know, all your what do I want, accomplishments, and I know that you've won at least 2 awards,
Yes.
and maybe more, and more to come, I'm sure.
Well, that's a very nice thought. Thank you. But
What is your book?
my book is Creek Songs, and the genre is short stories. There are 26 short stories in the collection, 13 male protagonists, 13 female protagonists. Don't ask me how I did that. I was an equal opportunity employer. I didn't even know it. Anyway, and I write about everyday people living their lives, just like we are. And this is what happens when you're at night writing, and you come up with a short story.
And she's also a poet. And I think that poets are good writers. You have to be.
I'll tell you one thing poetry does make you do. Your words have to be chosen very carefully.
Economy of words.
Yes, and a poet will sit for hours with, should I put a comma in or take it out, kind of a thing. And with short stories, the same idea, every word counts and every word has to push the story forward. So that's what happens. I'll give you an example of a 6-word story. This is attributed to Ernest Hemingway, and it goes, for sale, baby shoes, never worn.
Doesn't that make you cry?
But
Yes.
that's like our improv.
Yes.
I mean, she was saying, you know, a 6-word story.
Yes.
And how, but in improv, that's how they do improv. But and then you end up with this wherever it comes from.
I mean, it almost would want to go into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do a 2-hour movie just on those 6 words.
Yes. Yes.
And I read to you, you said something about paintings give you an inspiration for a short story?
They do. And I also have background in theater, in educational theater, and in community theater. And I also have a master's degree with an emphasis in directing. So when I'm writing, I often see the scene.
Right,
Just
I
think
get
it
it.
through.
I
Oh,
see
yes.
it, yeah, and that's, then I just start writing. And part of that has to do with the fact that taking young actors, you have them play games to build their confidence, then you go into monologues, then you go into scenes, and then you take them to the one-act play. And so writing is seeing of scenes for me. Everybody is different. Everybody is different.
No,
I do the
agree
same.
with that too. I do that.
But I thought it was very interesting. You told us that you never wrote, and yet you taught. She taught high school. Tell what you taught.
Well,
Where? Where did you teach?
El Toro High School in Orange County.
All the way from Buffalo. Here we go. Go ahead, elsewhere. And your master's degree was from?
Cal State Fullerton.
So you moved to California
In
fair-
1958.
Oh, don't tell.
That's okay. That's a good.
No, no,
That's
but
when I moved to
I
the
don't
desert.
hide my age.
Oh no. It doesn't matter
I
unless
can't
you're.
hide my age.
Oh, it's okay. It's just okay.
So you taught it before you ever wrote a book?
Yes, I didn't start writing until the late 1980s.
There you go, people. There's no excuse.
Right.
I-
That's true.
But what about you with all your? He
Anytime.
gets up every morning and writes and writes and writes and
I
writes. And,
journal.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I journal.
That's a great source for ideas, for reflection. That's a beautiful thing to do.
And then when you retire, you'll have all those books to write
I have
with the people that you've met.
I have probably 20 journals now.
Oh, really?
I've been doing it since the
and he
80s.
writes very small, so it's like
A
all
lot of material.
Well, I didn't write until I got a computer with spell check.
That's great. I love that. I love it. Carol, one question more about your book. Where did the title come from?
That's good.
That was almost opening the veins and bleeding. As I mentioned, there's 26 stories in there. There's 13 female protagonists, 13 male protagonists. And what kind of a title can umbrella all of those characters? And it was a waterway that did it because I grew up in Buffalo, New York, by a creek, Ellicott Creek, and I got to see the creek through all the seasons. And it was a major creek. You could canoe in it, you could ice skate on it, and it would flood in the spring very seriously. So I kind of looked at that as creek songs. And people go through the seasons of their lives. And so that's where the title came from, Creek Songs.
Just so fascinating. And Rachel, you're one. I don't know where he found that one. The picture of you, or there's a
Joanne?
picture, or Joanne. What did I call you? Forget.
It's okay.
Blame it on age.
I'm not sure I know who I am either.
Oh, that's a good thing. You know, but your picture of this, just a woman's kind of part of her face.
Well, that's another book. That's the first book I wrote. But this one is
Would you like
about
this? Would you like
the man who is looking out and sees his oil wells. He's kind of well dressed, but he still looks a little tacky. He's trying to learn how to be a wealthy person. And you know what? You know how to live and what is exactly right if you're a person who's poor. But suddenly you've got a lot of money and you want to try to live that way. And people expect you to live that way. And you're not sure about that. That's where the title came from. Random Truths. What seemed right here maybe didn't seem right there. And a big problem was how it split families, because the older children were raised in poverty, the younger ones were spoiled. And that doesn't make a happy scene. No. A lot of things happen. And nearly everything in the book happened to somebody, but it is fiction.
But she is known as the porn queen,
Joanne herself?
Joanne. Yes, tell about
You want to
that.
know why?
Why? Yes, I do.
Well, when I
Don't
was-
you want to know why? Why Joanne is the porn
Notice how
queen?
we're all leaning in.
Yes. Joanne, tell them the truth.
I will tell the truth. The first time, not this book, the first one, I was doing research in this little town where everything took place. And I went down the street to get a cup of coffee, and I told these girls in this store, I'm doing a book that is set in this county. Would you be interested in carrying this book if I write a couple of columns to tell everybody where to go get it? Oh, they were enthusiastic. So when the time came, I had Amazon sending boxes of books. And I sent a box, and they wanted another box, and another box. And I think I'm going to be wealthy right away and just sit in my office. And then the woman who owned the store read it. And it has sex scenes in it. She says, get that out. I don't want that book in my store. So I have a book that was banned in Louisville, Illinois. And I was so happy.
Wears that proudly.
Oh, well, oh my God.
Would
I
you
don't know.
expect
Do
it?
not be fooled, my friends, by the, it's not everything you always can see, these lovely ladies. Yes?
And Joanne, how long were you an editor with the Desert Sun?
How long? I'm sorry?
Weren't you an editor with the Desert Sun or do something?
Oh, I've
like
been
that?
11 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people doing it, a lot of great people in this desert.
There are some wonderful people.
And she does her homework on people. When she writes on a charity she wrote a beautiful thing about Carol. And it was in the Desert Sun. And so she really does her homework.
Well, now you wrote about the Civil War.
Yes, that was the one that you saw where you saw the girl, a head
Yes.
girl. That also was set there, and I told you my father talked to his grandfather, and that's where that came from. Yeah, that was the Civil War. And then I have another one coming out in probably March or April.
And we're going to bring her back.
Yes, I want to come back. And,
Anytime you write some more books.
and that is set with the rise of the railroad era, the early part of it, and the Civil War, and the women's suffrage movement, which was something else.
Well, I can relate to the Civil War. My one connection to the Civil War is that my great-grandfather was one of Abraham Lincoln's pallbearers.
Oh,
Well, that's
really?
quite a story. You know, when that book came out, I created a book tour in that area, and after I would talk, I would say, "Does anybody have a Civil War story?" Well, in the Midwest, everybody
has.
does. And after it was over, we would just sit around in chairs and tell, about great-grandpa and great-grandma and this other one that was fought on the other side, and nobody liked him, and all those stuff.
Were you making notes?
What?
Were you making notes?
Yes.
Well, no, if
Carol could have been there writing little short stories for
That's
each one of
true.
those.
That's true, and you've got a story there when you find time.
Thank you. You know what? I know that. I know because my great-grandfather, my nephew in Ohio has a letter hanging on his law office built in his law office that was written by my great-grandfather to my great-grandmother in Barnesville, Ohio. He was in Washington, and the letter says, "It's a very sad time in Washington tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Our beloved president has been assassinated, and they think it's a local actor. They had not caught him yet." And so there, it's like, yes, and of course I grew up with my mother, like, loving these things, and, getting that letter out and letting us see it was like, party time treat to look at this. And but I just had to interject that, girl, so that you would know that I do have somewhat of a background that goes beyond dancing and singing.
And I wanted to go back to Rachel. If you can talk a little bit more about
Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness, I am just thrilled to talk about Tools for Tomorrow. I started it 24 years ago, and when I started it, I was told that startup charities last about 3 years. So here we are 24 years later, and thank you for the wonderful volunteers. I did it for 7 years. Wouldn't that be wonderful if he did volunteer for us? Gosh.
Why don't-
read the contract.
Rachel,
Well, we pay very well.
tell them what it is. It's an after-school program
yeah,
because
it's an after-school program that integrates music, drama, writing, and art, and performance. And the children pay nothing, the school pays nothing, it's all free. We even give them treats.
Oh,
That's very important.
did you start this?
Yeah, I did.
And,
she
and
is a
it's-
founder. I'm sorry, she's a founder.
Right, exactly.
I am
And
the
it's in
founder.
the schools now?
Yeah, well, what it is, it's an after-school program.
After school, right.
But it has just exploded, and it's not me, but it's these volunteers that have done it. And one beautiful thing that came out of the COVID problem was we learned to do it online, on a Zoom. And so we are in the schools, but those children who don't have that in their school, they watch it online, and they can also have the kits, and so they have all of the equipment. So we have hundreds of children in the program now.
So if somebody wanted their children or the children themselves, what ages?
It's third grade through fifth.
So how would they become involved with this?
Well, through their school, and we will, even if the school doesn't provide the program, we will see that they get the kits that has all the equipment that they need to have the classes. Thank you so much
so
for asking.
how would they get these kits though? If
Well, they go to the school.
Oh,
and
but the
pick
school-
they pick
okay.
it up at the school. But the school may not have the program. The only handicap we have is money, because we
Imagine that.
no, but we are very responsible. In fact, I will say this, that we're considered one of the most financially viable charities in the desert.
Sweet. Because I went on the website and watched the short video. What I like is what the kids said afterwards, how it inspired them, and they liked the creativity. They talked about the arts.
Make
in
sure that
it
gets-
wasn't just a fun thing to do. They were actually inspired to go beyond. what
Well,
you were
and
teaching.
we have one boy that didn't speak English very well in his family, and he is going to Berkeley. We have teachers that have come back to teach with us that took the program. It really,
How that just gives me chills. That's
Me too.
fabulous.
There's one thing that I did an article about that. They kind of set up a situation. What if this is going on in school and you see it? How would you respond? So character building too.
and
This one has. This one, they wanted him to run for school board. He's become so involved with the school system
well,
of what's going on in the schools.
I will say one thing which you reminded me, and thank you for saying that, because we feel that character and cooperation and kindness are part of the program. And we were told by one principal that when there was bullying on the playground, that the Tools for Tomorrow children were the first to interfere and to yeah. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Very valuable.
And I knew he saw that, and that's why he wanted to know, because he's so involved as he's out selling his houses, right? He's waving his flags and marching along with. In fact, he had a T-shirt on earlier that says we do not parent. We do not parent.
We do not co-parent with the
Oh, we do not
Co-parent
co-parent.
with the government.
Oh, he's our kind of a guy.
Yeah. So I want to know, is it only through your website that people can purchase your books, or are they on Amazon? Where
Yeah.
else are they?
They're on Amazon. They're always available after one of our presentations.
And so if people wanted to get like on a mailing list, if they go to your website?
They can do
Yes.
that. If they come to one of our events, they can sign up.
And your events will always be on your website.
Yes.
Right.
Which is, of course, as we've said.
And we have a newsletter too that goes out.
Ooh,
Every
with a
every
big-
month we
we-
have, and Carol did the first one, and Joanne, I think you did the second one, didn't you?
I think so.
Yeah. And so I do, and we alternate.
how fabulous. And then we can, go ahead,
I
Carol.
was just going to say, in the newsletter, down in the left-hand corner, there's a listing of all of our upcoming events, where they are, and what time they start.
And people can subscribe to the newsletter through the website.
Yes.
Right.
And it's only one page and lots of pictures.
Well, that's good. That's good. And it's once again allaboutbooks.dc.rr.com. But we will put this, as you well know, we always give you information on the next day. And what are we doing?
I'm
You-
gonna let you know who's watching
yes,
currently.
yes.
We have Carol Brown.
That Carol Brown is my friend from Ohio. Thank you, very, very, very good friend and support. Carol and Dave. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We got Peggy Hart.
Oh, that's my beautiful niece from North Carolina, and she wrote a book
Oh, my
called the Forgotten Ornament, and it
I
came.
like the title.
Oh,
Yes.
and it's not just a Christmas book, but she's done very well with it. And that was her first attempt. So Peggy, this should be a real inspiration to you, darling. And she's one of my beautiful nieces, and she lives in North Carolina. Thank you, honey.
We got Celeste Orozco.
Oh, Celeste is a gal who lives in the desert that we have recently met. That is just a real go.
Hoot.
Yeah, she's a hoot. Yes, and we love her.
We have Gloria Garling Lash.
Gloria, yes, you know Gloria.
Oh, it's the piano.
Yes, with the piano, yes. Thank you. So perhaps when it gets played back, some of your friends should be watching.
We have
I think we should.
Chuck Joyce.
Stites. And those are friends of mine from Ohio, and they live in Washington. So we have North Carolina, Washington, Ohio,
The desert.
California, the
Anybody
desert.
from Hawaii?
Well, she has a friend that she knows is watching from Hawaii. So
Julie Henley.
now that has to be one of yours. Julie Henry?
Henley.
No.
Henley,
Like
Hen.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for tuning in to this show, and I would love to believe that you are inspired by all of this.
Shanna Rose.
Thank you for having us.
Shanna Rose.
Say,
You
what's
know
the first
Shanna
name?
Rose?
Shanna. Well, I know that name, and on my Facebook, but I don't believe we've ever met.
Marika.
You're having a lot of people call in.
Yeah, we get.
I cannot say this name. It's Sakelariu.
Spell it.
Sakellariou.
Oh, that may be.
Maybe it's because of the books, and you put keywords in and people are interested. And we have Bobby Moore, Kathy Crawley.
Hi, Kathy. Kathy, you would love this. These are things. And the thing is that if you go to where they're speaking, they give away on a,
These are blind date with a book. And then, you know, it's going to be a drawing. And you don't know, just like a date, whether it's going to be a keeper or a dud.
It's a lot safer.
Yes.
well, Reno, have we given you at least a little bit of room here to say hello to the world and tell them you're out here waiting for more people to move to this wonderful desert?
I'll just stand behind you real quick and I'll go back.
Are we? How far away are we? The
We're
camera.
good.
Oh, we are.
The camera's right there.
Oh, I know.
You've been on the camera the whole time.
I know you.
Take one, right?
Okay. Say hello. And what is it you always say to the world? What do you do?
Try to leave people in a better place because everybody has stuff going on. Sometimes you got to get behind the mask and find the treasure
Through an open book.
through an open book. Very good.
Well,
It's a
girls,
very nice thought.
oh, is there? I mean, it's like I just want to ask and ask and ask and ask because I just want to know. And so, is there anything that I haven't asked that you would still like to tell the world? Something that you have always wanted to say, and maybe you've said it over and over, and it's what you like. Yeah. I'm gonna have one of those these cookies.
there's your
Did you
iced
make them?
Oh,
Oh,
never.
But they smell good. I can't wait for a cookie. We've been treated very well here at Rachel's home today with books and iced tea and cookies and the camaraderie, and I get to continue to associate with these lovely people
Forever.
Forever. Well, what am I going to tell you? You can run.
We are very grateful
Yes.
to
Yes,
have
we
this
really-
opportunity.
We
I
really
mean,
consider
truly.
this an honor.
Well, that's very nice of you to say because Reno and I, when we started all of this, the HARP effect, we had no idea that it was going to continue to, we projected it out that it would, and we just keep rolling with it, and we've just found it's just as fascinating, and we've brought new friends, new people, introducing things to, if nowhere else, the desert. But that's the beauty, of course, of Facebook is that I bet I have friends in Germany watching right now. A lot of times people will watch and not make comments.
Yes, yes.
And Hawaii, like you
Yes.
said, and
Well, I hope that people realize it's never too late to write and that everybody can find a story. Stories are around us all over, and if you
Yes.
have the inclination to sit down and do it. You're not competing with anybody else. You're just writing. And some people say write what you know. I sometimes say write what you don't know. And you grow and you learn and you continue to write. So we love what we do, and we hope we inspire you to try writing if you're not already writing.
That's right.
oh, how beautiful. Joanne,
I want to say something about our presentation. The feedback that we've had is
the one that the three of you give together and,
Yes.
and they talk about.
what we've been told that we each one do 10 minutes.
Well,
So,
that's
you
if
know-
she makes us.
Well, so when you're listening to a speaker and then you get kind of mellow, well, that's when we shift gears and go to another one. So they like it that we shift from one speaker to the next, and that keeps us alive
That's
and hopefully involved.
Yes.
Oh, see, this is along my theme is keep on keeping on.
Yes.
And this is along with that. I mean, I could be singing somewhere, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the song, I'll go, and when did you stop singing? And when did you give up your piano playing? And when did you think it was too late to start an exercise program or take up dancing? It's never too late. And
Never.
that's
I
what-
can
and
tell
so-
you that for sure.
So tell them, what would you like to say?
Well, they don't want me to say I'm going to be 89 in November, and I'm still writing my books. I'm in the middle of it, and I'm still involved in things, and
Well, because you didn't give in to the fact that, you know, that people are, you know, women and men, that there's a time when you stop. No, there doesn't have to ever be that.
Well, you do slower. I do it slower.
Or you might not be able to drive at night, you know, but nonetheless, you know, you still, and I think it's that's wonderful, and that you have, in fact, somebody, I don't think it was at GSFE, but the other day said that the new 90 is 60.
I heard that and I really liked that.
Yes. Well, imagine, just believe it, because it's like, hey, you're going to be a year old or a day older tomorrow, whether you're around or, you know.
But you also can use age when you want to.
Use what?
I use my age when it suits me. Like,
Can you help me?
yeah, that's right. I'm yeah.
Would you like a carry out to your car? Oh, yes. Yes.
No, we don't go there. We can't go there. You know, it's just you got to keep on keeping on. And I tell you what, the thing that I love the best is to say to everybody that this was one of my favorite quotes. I did not make it up. May all that has been reduced to noise in you become music again.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Isn't that beautiful? It's
Yeah,
from a book called Broom Closet, and I don't even know how I got it. Somebody gave it to me, and I love it. And
It's lovely.
And it goes along with my very final saying, which after I thank you all for being a part of this and being with Reno and myself on this program, and you know you can watch it playback, and after probably tomorrow morning it'll be up on YouTube if you want to show it to somebody who doesn't go on Facebook. And so just remember that music and now books and friendship has no distance.
That's true.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.